Well, good morning, everybody. It's March 17th at 11 a.m. and this will begin our regular meeting of the Lake County Board of County Commissioners. Please silence or turn off all your cell phones, and we will start with the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
First, I'll ask for a motion to approve the agenda for today.
I'll move to approve the agenda.
Second that.
To a vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next, we have community information items. I have nothing today. Commissioner Elsa, do you have some community information items to share with us?
No, thank you.
Commissioner Lee?
Yes, hectic 72 hours here for Lake County. Saw a significant weather event. Most people probably know, they experienced it firsthand. High winds causing damage and disruptions countywide. I wanted to give a huge shout out and thanks to Lake County staff and our local partners for providing a space, coordinating on emergency relief spaces for anyone who needed it at that time. Kind of unsung heroes there. We have people in the building who are wearing a lot of different hats right now making these things happen, so thank you. I also wanted to thank our local law enforcement group, and Sheriff Speckman and our regional law enforcement partners for their work on a major operation this weekend. The work that they do to keep this community safe is extremely valuable, and sometimes the just saying thanks is something I don't hear enough of for those guys. So them being out there putting their own safety on the line to help this community out is extremely important to me. So I wanted to say thanks to those guys. I think that's really all I've got right now.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Lee. This is a reminder that all meeting recordings are available, and the work sessions are recorded and available on the Lake County Government YouTube channel. They're transcribed and indexed for your convenience. The recordings can be watched at a time that's best for you. Subscribe and stay informed on county decisions. We now have public comment. If anybody online or in the room would like to make a public comment, please raise your hand and state your name. Good morning, Jane.
Hi, I'm Jane Harrelson, 172 Rafferty Drive. The school district has made it clear that a unified decision between Lake County School District Board of Education, you, the Board of Commissioners, and City Council is required before any large-scale recreation renovation takes place at Lake County Intermediate School. And no decisions have been made. You all had that joint meeting last June, but no decisions were made. As taxpayers, all of us will be responsible ultimately for that building and live with the consequences, whether it's renovated, demolished. Can you hear me?
Yeah, sorry, yeah. Excuse me.
Okay, whether it's renovated, demolished, sold, or left in place to decay, we're all gonna be responsible for it in the long run. And taxpayers have expressed over the last 5 years that they want a swimming pool. 5 years of investigation and over $400,000 of taxpayer-funded studies support that it's fiscally, environmentally, and socially more responsible to renovate what we have than to build a new public aquatic center. And as far as that feasibility study that was released about a year ago goes, a brick and mortar building with an Olympic-sized pool and diving well, renovated with an expected 50-year lifespan, presented in the Lake County audit by Ascenza, is a better use of taxpayer dollars than the fabricated steel building with 4 20-yard lap lanes, a leisure kids pool, and a 25-year lifespan that was presented in the OLC study. So there's been a task force made up of the city administrator, the school superintendent, the county manager, and a representative from PB Swims. And it has accomplished in its first 2 meetings the decision to meet 4 times a year with the purpose of working toward restoring public access to swimming. Time is money. A full renovation of the aquatic center is now estimated to be $7.5 million. And that's just based on the numbers we got from the county a year ago with a 6% inflation rate added. I've heard different AI estimations to be 20 to 34 million. So it's hard to say. PB Swims, we have the fiduciary duty to pursue every opportunity for funding that is presented. So we're applying for congressional directed spending funding through the USDA Rural Facilities Grant. It's due March 27th. And we respectfully request that the Board of County Commissioners write a letter of support to the Senate Appropriations Committee on behalf of PB Swims in support of our mission to renovate Lake County Aquatic Center. We also respectfully request that the county commissioners make a commitment to the Board of Education that you will support the taxpayer-driven effort to renovate, operate, and maintain Lake County Aquatic Center within Lake County Intermediate School. I thank you for your time, and I thank you for serving.
Thank you, Jane.
Anybody else in the room or online like to make a comment? Just raise your hand and state your name. Okay, moving on. We have a new feature in our regular meeting agenda, and that is updates from our county attorney and our county manager. Today we'll start with our county attorney, Mr. Matt Hobbs.
Morning, Commissioners. A few things. Just give you a little bit of an update on sort of these land use complaints that we've been working with CPD. 3 of them we filed in court. Mr. Romer's case was first up last week. He had a return date on the summons. We continued that about up to a month out to give Mr. Romer some time to present a plan to CPD of how he's going to bring his property into compliance. The other 2 are out in E Hill regarding some storage of campers and some other structures that are on those properties that don't have a primary use structure. So essentially people are using the property to store campers and other things, which is quite a theme down there, I think. So 2 of those are return dates this Thursday. I think we have return dates on the summonses on those in county court. Return date on the summons is nothing more. They need to file an answer and we kind of set another court date. Usually the hearing will get set. So I would expect the hearings for those 2 cases to get set on Thursday. Another one, I kind of need a little bit of input from the board. 12355 South Highway 24. Have a nuisance property south of town. Long-standing Casillas property. Their house, it was kind of on UP's property and half on their property. And they've approached us with a proposal to, essentially try to abate the nuisance as much as they can, but they want to have time to do that and then essentially deed that property to the county. Once 6 months or something is up before I go too far down that rabbit hole. If it's something you guys don't wanna pursue, we won't do it. If it's something you're interested, we'll start that process, and obviously it'll come back to the board for a formal agreement once we get that far.
Could you elaborate on that, like the deeding the property to the county, is Union Pacific talking about their portion of, or the owners of the property?
Easiest, yeah.
Okay, like what, I think
Do you know which property I'm referring to?
I can think of a few down in that
Yes.
area that are, I know CPD has tried to work with for years about remedying some of the junk vehicles and things like that.
So are you saying that half of the house is on which property?
Union
Was
Pacific.
on Union
UP,
Pacific?
yeah,
Oh,
and they
okay.
had this early agreement with UP with a lease, and UP terminated the lease, and UP has, we've also been in touch with UP, they are gonna tear the house down, it's a matter of time. And UP has told them they need to remove all their stuff from the UP property that they want and get it back on their property. These folks no longer live here, they live down in San Luis, Colorado.
Got it.
They're older and just having a hard time getting what they want from this property. And the property, it's this sliver of property in between the highway
Mm-hmm,
and the railroad.
mm-hmm.
And it's really can't be used for anything, so it's a sliver, so they can't build on it, they really can't do anything with it. So they've proposed, that they clean it up to the extent they can and essentially deed the property to the county, because they know that it's basically an unmarketable property that they're gonna be stuck paying taxes on.
Do they have a plan to clean it up, and are they gonna follow through with that, or is that gonna be left to us to clean it up?
Well,
And why do we
I
want it?
suspect it'll be left up to us.
Yeah.
It's been that way for a while.
Yeah, if I had to guess, they're gonna get what they can and leave the rest to us. I mean, the option is, if we don't go down that road, is we'll probably be stuck cleaning it up anyway.
Right.
And then we can file a lien on the taxes and then,
Got it.
hope somebody comes and pays, but essentially I would suspect that property will go up for tax lien sale at some point, and
Yeah,
whether anybody buys a lien or not, but if there's a, whatever, $10,000 cleanup bill on the property, it's unlikely that'll be recovered, would be my guess.
But the railroad has agreed to demo the house, or,
The railroad has agreed to do this.
and clean that up? And take it to the dump, or just knock it over?
Yeah, they're gonna clean it up, yeah.
That's a big job, is there anything of value there, that they're gonna come get, they want 6 months to come and get anything of value, I think
I
they
mean,
need
that's
skids
in the
to-
eye of the beholder probably somewhat, right?
There's some equipment there,
Yeah, I don't know what's there, but
yeah.
they probably think there's things of value, and probably other people would look at it and say, this is all junk, it should just be used for scrap metal.
Sounds like we don't have a choice, really. If it's unbuildable, is there anything else we could use it for?
there are two different routes for it to get to us, sounds like, and there's a quicker, less expensive route for it to get to us, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think it's kind of you're picking the least of the bad options
Yeah.
for this property. It's not like there's a great, option in front of you. It's like, what's the least bad option?
Yeah.
Probably just having them, some agreement where at least they can make some progress, and then, in all likelihood, I suspect there's gonna be some junk left to it. We'll have to-
I'm sure there's oil and all kinds of toxic stuff on there, that would be left to you, Mr. Irwin.
Probably asbestos in the building.
Yeah, well, the building UP is gonna take care of, so that goes away, but certainly the draft abatement agreement I've sort of drawn up, it deals with some environmental liabilities, and so the county wouldn't be taking those on.
You are the county's primary point of contact with the property owners?
You know, since CPD's involved us at this point, yeah, I think we're past sort of the voluntary compliance where they're taking the lead on it, and I've sort of taken the lead on these sort of, I think there's 10 or 13 cases where they've sort of handed off to me that they've tried to work with these property owners for years.
Yeah.
And it's really gotten nowhere, so we're slowly starting to file those in court, starting with these 3, and you know, this one has voluntarily reached out, and you know, we'll continue moving the others forward.
I choose the least bad.
Okay.
If you want direction, that's
Sort
what
of get a sense of where you guys are at.
you guys down with
Yeah,
that? Okay. Direct it.
it's the least expensive.
Least awful.
Yeah.
The stage to rails people were here a while ago, and that's sort of been on my back burner, and you know, at some point, I just wanted to get a sense from you all if you wanted me to bring that something formal back to you to consider in terms of a resolution to designate that. Looks like I'm getting a couple
Yes, please.
nods, okay. You know, the other litigation update is on the Takancic Martinez case. That the motion to dismiss has been filed in that case. We're not gonna get you know, the court doesn't have a timeline, they need to rule on those, so it could be relatively quickly, it could be months. I've seen courts sit on these motions. I haven't seen this court, but I've definitely seen some courts that will sit on these motions for over a year.
Okay.
So it's could be a matter of weeks, it could be several months, it could be an extended period of time. I just don't have any ability to tell you when the court's gonna rule on that. That's where we're at on that. There's really nothing going on until the court rules on that motion.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Next up, we have county manager updates.
Yes, so monthly, we are asking departments to, give us updates for each one. I'm not gonna read every single one of these, or we could be here for quite some time. So I'm gonna hit the highlights, and then just so you guys are aware, when we do quarterly updates for budget, which should be coming up at the end of April, we'll have department directors presenting what they're working on, and just things that they're excited to share with you. So you will be hearing from them, not just from me, but this at least gives you an idea of what we've been working on in the interim. So tourism and economic development, they recently collaborated with Fat Bike Worlds and Ski Touring to try to improve visitor information and help get the word out about these events. For ski touring, they worked closely with organizers to enhance visitor communications, which was important, as we had so many people in town. They've expanded community use of the visitor center space. They hosted an in-person planning meeting for the Heart of the Rockies Rural Philanthropy Days group. And that event is scheduled October 29th and 30th. And then they have an upcoming climate and coffee event with C4. And they are trying to continue to use the visitor center as a welcoming community gathering space. They will be launching a tourism sentiment survey in the next, actually I think it might have gone out today.
I've taken it 3 times.
Awesome. And it will be out for 30
Just kidding.
days. So we would love everyone's feedback on that. It just helps us understand the sentiment about tourism in Lake County, how we can do a better job on our end to make sure that we're investing into marketing in the right areas that would help drive tourism, to our community. And economic development, building better places. Work over the next few weeks. They are going to be sending out emails to all of us to get our feedback kind of on these final plan pieces as we start to try to wrap that project up. So we'll be getting some emails here and there that we're giving feedback to. The airport industrial park feasibility study has been completed, and a staff memo was generated to give to the BOCC, so we can start to collect a little more information and then come back with any viable options and say to you guys, what viable options would you want us to explore? Let's see. In public health, we've been closely monitoring a measles outbreak on the Front Range and are continuing to encourage people to get vaccinated. As of 4:30 on Friday, Brittany Pedersen's team selected our prevention project for congressional funding, and we're in the process of collecting community support to turn in by Tuesday, the 17th, today. Other things that they're working on are working with the LCSD about an upcoming educational campaign about safe firearm storage alongside free gun locks for the community to make sure that children don't have access to those items. I'll jump over to Publix. On the road and bridge front, we just want to say a big thank you to Michael's team for hauling snow to and from the avenue. We worked really hard to make sure both days of ski touring could happen, which a lot of people had to cancel their second day just because of the slush factor. So they worked really hard to move the snow and get detours set up. We're working on the crusher to be able to make road base for our gravel. Public Works, the landfill, we received an approval letter from CDPHE on our engineering, operations and design plan, so that was really helpful. I'm glad that we received approval.
Can we pause for a second?
Yep.
What's the timeline on that? Do you think we're gonna get it up this summer?
The landfill?
No, no.
Yeah.
Perfect, well.
Yeah, what do you think, Michael? No, the crusher.
We've been working on it for a while. We have crushed some asphalt already. We started crushing gravel and we popped the plate off of the crusher. I believe it's back up and running. They just have not had a chance to run it yet because of the weather.
Okay, rock on. So you think this summer that'll be running for us and we'll be able to
Yes.
get it locally? That's awesome, Michael. Congratulations. Thanks, Candace.
CSU Extension will be hosting student interns over the summer. The intern will collaborate with the Rockies Rock Adventure Summer Camp and help with other natural resources education projects in Lake County. The application just closed and they're gonna be reviewing those and screening candidates to select one. Other items are that CSU is continuing the planter box project with C4 for another summer, which I think that was really popular last year. It provides free raised planter boxes to local residents and provides gardening classes to teach them how to garden and grow their own food. Water and Natural Resources is planning for what we think will be a very dry year unless an El Nino swoops in and saves us. In fact, the next few weeks look particularly crispy. So we are currently working on our water lease with the Mount Massive Golf Club. If they are unable to procure water for 2026 from another source, we're trying to get those items figured out. Work is continuing on the development of Parkville Water's right to 88 CW 19, which would enable irrigation of the golf course and potentially free up a significant portion of Lake County's augmented water for use in Lake County Water Projects Enterprise.
Can we pause that for a second? Since the golf course meeting is tomorrow, what just happened? Where are we getting water from potentially, and how is that gonna free up our aug water and, cause I wanna be able to know what I'm talking about tomorrow.
Sure, yeah, and I'll be there tomorrow as well.
Okay, good.
So the golf course, you know, as far as me and my engineers understand it, they don't have another source of water. But last we heard at the end of February, they were pursuing an alternate source of water. I'd be curious to see if they can find that.
Yeah.
So in lieu of that, we're just preparing to proceed as normal, you know, with when they understand that there's not many other sources of water at the golf course. There are 2 water decrees that allow you to irrigate the golf course, one of which is our aug plan, the other is Parkville's 88 CW 19. That's the one I've been talking about developing where we have to rehabilitate the Delap ditch.
Yeah.
But we also have to put in a diversion and measurement structure on Empire Gulch.
Yeah.
Which is where the water gets transferred from. So that's a separate development of a water right that then when we can use Parkville's water to irrigate part of the golf course, all that water we use to irrigate the golf course gets freed back up to us, which could be potentially like 50% of our total water.
But that would be, so has anything changed? Because my impression is that we would get that work done in Empire this fall. So it wouldn't actually be able to free up any of the odd water from any of the Parkville water for this summer.
Correct, yeah, so
Okay.
we're pursuing the lease kind of like we discussed where it's
Okay.
it's essentially modeled on prior years, trying to get them what they need with the understanding that they could have less water.
Okay.
But at the same time, we're also pursuing development of this other water right that's, probably 2 years work away, but we need to start now on that.
So just to be clear, nothing has changed since the last
Correct,
time we
nothing
checked
has
in?
changed.
Okay,
There's
I
no
was
more
like, what
water
is this
available
extra
for that.
water? T 3980,
No,
Okay,
we're-
okay.
That's what I'm really focused on, it benefits them and it benefits the county
Great.
and Parkville gets a benefit too.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Bryce. Thanks, Candace.
Can I ask one quick water question while we're on the subject? Are you gonna be Lake County's seat at the table for the 2026 Arkansas River Basin Water Forum?
I'm a
Salida.
representative of the basin, the round table now, and that round table is kind of what's on the forum.
Okay,
The forum's not gonna have any decision-making bodies. I would recommend all of you to go though. It's in Salida this year. It's usually in La Hunter, Pueblo.
Okay.
And it's great. It's everyone that works in and cares about the Arkansas River in our basin. And so the education sessions are incredibly informative. We're gonna have a big drought focus this year.
yeah,
And there's also a focus that's really important, I think, system-wide on protecting the historic farming lands lower in the valley that are the big targets for buy and drive from the cities right now.
okay. April 21st, 5 to 9 PM, that's at the Salida Steam Plant.
Yeah, you're talking about the local leaders dinner?
Yep,
Yeah, that's a good one to go to. I recommend it. And it's just great for networking as well. And be able to ask other people in your position kind of how they're handling these issues.
thanks, that's all I have.
Great.
Alright, moving on, finance, they are working on, or we have been working on a 5-year pro forma budget for Lake County. Now that we, got 26 wrapped up, we're looking at 27 budget and a 5-year projection. Especially now that we're utilizing our accounting software, to fully really model, payroll, health, life, dental, vision, which we have done separately in a spreadsheet before. We've only just started using the software to do that. But now we're able to actually take that module that allows us to really look at what is our staff cost and project it out over the next 5 years if we keep people in the same seats, which is really one of our biggest, drivers. That's everyone's biggest driver is payroll and benefits. And so really to be able to strategically look at that from a 5-year outlook, knowing everybody that's with us might not always be, here, they could leave, and then we would reimagine some of those positions or, ask ourselves, what serves the need of the community the best. But we are getting that work done right now. We are also just about to start our 2025 audit. But have a little bit of a lag time between the last audit ending and this one starting, so pretty much in March, by the end of March, we quit posting any entries back to the prior year and anything forward to the next year. We have a 60-day window where if we receive an invoice that was for the prior year, we post it back. And we do that for up to 60 days. And then we start to wrap up the year and get our books in a row to hand off to the auditor. And so that process is happening right now. We have a little bit of a lull between the end of March before we really start to do that work of like getting, any adjustments the auditors gave us from last year's audit in place before we hand the books off. And while we're in that lull, we are automating our accounts payable. So we're gonna be working with Tyler to implement automated accounts payable. So just what that means. Right now, one person gets every invoice and they enter the invoice, they have to get approvals, it's a very manual process. And Tyler has AP automation, so the invoices received can just be scanned and it creates the payable entry instead of one person finding the right vendor, entering the amount, going back and checking the date. It's all very manual, so that will take payroll, or not payroll, but accounts payable from being this very lengthy manual process to being scanning the documents, the packets created, the person checks the packet and they route it to a director for approval, and the director can approve it right then and there. Or change if something isn't coded to the right account, they can change it right then and there, and it's routed back. It will really, really increase our processing time for accounts payable so that Yankee, who does accounts payable, can focus on other reporting tasks that we've never even gotten to because we've done it very manually. So that will be a huge lift.
Okay, pause. Audit is about to start. Congratulations. And accounts payable. This is huge, Candace, well done.
Yeah, hopefully we just try to get this one done.
I don't
I'm ready to just do one a year.
Yeah, I don't wanna breeze by that. I think that's a huge
Yeah.
change in our culture and our systems. I'm just really grateful and really proud of your team.
Yeah, they are crushing over there. And we're all excited to just do one audit and then have breathing room before the next one. So it'll be exciting for us this year. Building department, they're working on the Colorado Wildfire Resiliency Code. The public hearing and resolution for that is scheduled for 3:30. The building department of the city of Leadville and Leadville Lake County Fire Department have drafted an administrative plan for our department too. Sorry, I left ours out. This is their update, so I don't think they mentioned themselves. We drafted an administrative plan for the upcoming enforcement of the code, which is really important given the fire season that we're in. The Board of Review is recommending the 2024 I codes. The board is meeting weekly to ensure the state mandatory adoption by the 30th of June. And then in April, we'll be getting public engagement, and then June 16th will be the public hearing for those. Cloud permit, Josh has been really working alongside Ann's team to get the building department trained, get the cloud permit set up correctly with the correct mapping software, which apparently was missing, and they didn't recognize that not having the correct mapping software wasn't allowing it to be implemented. But we are working to try to get that rolled out towards the end of the month. In planning, the rural lodging and event moratorium is in place currently, and we are working to get that wrapped up within 6 months. Went through a 6-month plan of like, how are we gonna get it done? What's the timeline? What has to be done each month to get there? With Josh and I, so we can make sure that we have that wrapped up by the end of that 6-month time period. And we can all be moving that forward. Really excited. We're interviewing for a planner, which they desperately need. And are wrapping those up in the next week to move to second rounds. Enforcement, we have 11 pending cases, which I think Matt has been looped into to a lot of those and has really helped our team, with noticing and making sure we keep ourselves covered as we do that. We were awarded a grant for the Housing Action Plan, which we're really excited for because we had to have one anyways, so now we actually have money to put towards it. We got 18 houses currently set, 15 houses under contract. 6 final homes are gonna be set on the 24th unless, any weather comes up, but it looks really nice actually. We got lucky at least that we could keep that moving along. And then last but not least, our county manager office updates. I just wanted to update you guys on work that we've been doing in our CLT, which is our county leadership team meetings. We're working on culture, mission, and vision work in the upcoming CLTs. we've been working with directors to identify areas that we need to improve training on instead of rolling out processes with no training, and then people are frustrated when they don't understand what's required or what's needed. Other things that we've been doing are each trying to work on priorities with departments and really say, hey, here are our strategic priorities that we're working towards. Without focus, it's really hard to actually get anything done if you're working on 100 things versus if you do 6, move to the next 6, trying to work on those items. And then just want to give an update on the pool task force, which we heard about earlier today. We have been meeting quarterly. Our last meeting, there was a discussion of the letter request that came up earlier. And I believe Jane is going to talk with the school district. As of the last meeting, the school district hadn't been asked about the use of their facility for that application that is going to go out. And in the last meeting, that's where the idea that we need a collective consensus from all 3 partners before sending letters out is really important. And I believe that Jane is gonna go speak at the next Board of Education meeting. I think it'd be really important for us before sending any letters out to understand that the Board of Education is on board with their building being used, and that came up in the last meeting. So that meeting is coming up, and I think it would be pretty essential to understand where they are at before we do a letter of support, and that did come up in that last meeting.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you.
So I just wanted to flag that.
Yeah,
Meeting
totally.
is coming up. I think it's on the 23rd, I'm pretty certain.
Okay.
I don't see it on the calendar. We have just, okay.
So to be clear, the Board of Education is
I know Jane is gonna be speaking with them, or actually, maybe she's not. I think it's just on their agenda for the 23rd. Kate flagged it for me. I'll get information out to you about when the meeting is,
Okay.
but in our last pool task force, it did come up that they hadn't been asked about the use of the building. So I think it'd be essential to know that that is clarified before we write a letter of support to apply for money for that specific space.
Okay.
You know, our pool task force, the focus right now is figuring out what is the best use of the funds that have been collected
Right.
to provide swimming
Right.
access to the community, not necessarily to figure out if that building is the answer. I think the goal of the pool task force is to figure out what are viable options that provide access to swimming for the community.
Right.
So, you know, we've met twice, and we are trying to be really intentional to provide options that really are
Feasible?
feasible
Mhm.
and also can be achieved. And
Mhm.
so that's really the goal of that task force.
Mhm. Well, it's due on the 27th, like we'd have to discuss even after hearing the Board of Education if we'd wanna do that.
That's a tight window
That's
between
a
that meeting and due date.
Yeah, and I'm not feeling very, I'm not feeling very like impelled personally. I think there's a lot. It's a complicated funding stream. We've had a lot of conversations about it. We've even talked as a community. And this was never on the table. It was not, like the fees, it was on the table, that's not fair. As a group, we did not keep it on the table. As a group, we said, hey, we need to see how we can use the funds that are being collected to actually get people swimming. And hence the task force as opposed to,
Yeah, I think
yeah,
it
we gotta
might,
get a pool at any, we have to get a pool with this.
it's gonna be important for us to dive deeper into that. I will follow up about whether one or all of us should be at that Board of Education meeting and
Kate just flagged it for me. I think we would just be there, you know, to listen. I don't think we're being asked to speak, so I pulled it up, cause I just wanna make sure I got the right info.
Yeah, I think so.
So 3:23, 5:30,
Okay.
Lauren, who has been facilitating the pool task force meeting. She is going to be doing an update for the Board of Education. It sounds like Jane will be in public comment asking maybe the same thing she's asked us today was flagged, but really it was more that Lauren is doing the pool task force update, and I think that would be important for us to hear. She may want to come and do one for us, I'm not sure, but I do think at least it would be good for us to listen in even to hear what the school board is saying, so we understand where they are at, especially in lieu of a request for a letter.
Totally.
So we would at least know where are they at.
Yeah.
And that's all I have.
Thank you, Candace.
Alright, I'm gonna take a quick minute here to point out to anyone watching in the room or anyone who's watching this later, that it's just dipping your toes into the massive lake of work that the leadership team here at Lake County is working on. So I would like to again say thank you to staff here for everything that they're doing for this county. It's the amount of tasks being accomplished in this building are way more than most folks will realize from the outside looking in. So thank you, Candace.
Well said.
I just wanna say thanks, directors. You're doing the work.
It's a
They
team
all are.
effort.
Yeah, it's a team effort.
Whole group.
Okay, shall we move on? Number 3 on the agenda today is a public hearing regarding ordinance 26-01. This ordinance amends ordinance 24-2 concerning the regulation of tobacco product retail sales and requiring a license to sell cigarettes, tobacco products, and nicotine products. So this is a public hearing. And
I think agenda item number 3 would be opening up to public comment on this.
Yeah, you just open up public comment, if there is none, we're gonna move on to agenda item number 4.
okay. Does anybody online or in the room have public comments regarding ordinance 2601, the new tobacco amended ordinance?
Bill Smith has their hand up.
Go ahead online, Bill Smith.
They have to unmute
You're
themselves.
muted.
Sometimes that's helpful.
Mr. Smith, can you hear us? Because we cannot hear you. If you're talking, Bill, we cannot hear you, and maybe look for your mute button on your computer.
Their hand is back down, so maybe they decided not to speak.
Bill, we're going to assume that you raised your hand in error, and we're gonna move on. But we do wanna hear from you if you have a comment, but we can't hear you now, so I think we're gonna move on. Feel free to write us an email or contact us directly. Okay, well, that concludes the public hearing portion of the tobacco ordinance. And that takes us to number 4, to discussion and consideration of ordinance 2601. An ordinance to amend ordinance 24-2 concerning the regulation of tobacco product retail sales. And it requires a license to sell cigarettes, tobacco products, and nicotine products. This will be led by Elena Medeiros of our Public Health, and she is the deputy director.
Hi, everyone. I'm happy to go through all of the changes again if that feels like something you wanna do. I don't know if that's necessary.
Not necessary,
Okay,
yeah.
I actually read it and it was in the paper, I was like, oh, this is interesting.
It's a good read, maybe not.
The power was out, there was no internet.
It's a great read. Yeah, so we're asking for this ordinance to be passed just to make things smoother for staff as well as retailers. Obviously, it's a brand new program, so there needs to be some changes, for everyone involved, and this would really help us, going forward. Hopefully the last revision to ever be made to it, so.
Okay.
I would like to make a motion, to approve amending ordinance 24-2 by approving ordinance 26-1 concerning the regulation of tobacco product retail sales and requiring a license to sell cigarettes, tobacco products, and nicotine products.
Seconded.
Do we need to discuss it before we go to a vote?
I do.
Okay, to a vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Good job working on that, felt like a lot of work.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
It was a lot of work just reading it.
Yeah. Thank you for reading it. Thanks to
Yeah.
everyone, thanks to Matt.
Okay, number 5, discussion and consideration of amendment to a professional services agreement with Brown and Caldwell Incorporated to continue consulting water engineering services for the Lake County Water and Natural Resources Department for 2026. This will be led by Bryce Ulrich, Water and Natural Resources Director.
Yeah, thanks, board. This is just to renew the engineering contract we have with Brown and Caldwell. So they do the bulk of our, water resources work, and we've been with them since 2024. I have nothing but good things to say about it. They go above and beyond, and they've really shown a passion for Lake County and what we got going on. So this was in my budget for this year.
I will move to approve the amendment to the PSA with Brown Caldwell Inc. to continue consulting water engineering services for the Lake County Water and Natural Resources Department for 2026.
I'll second that.
To a vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Bryce. Keep up the good work. Next, we have a discussion and consideration of the renewal of the master services agreement with Kimley Horn to continue engineering services for Lake County Public Works. This will be led by our Public Works Director, Michael Irwin.
Good afternoon and thank you. So this is basically to extend the existing MSA that we have with them for the next 5 years. Public Works uses them for the bridge engineering that we're doing. So we've done 2 of those, actually 3 of those so far, because one was not in the grant, one we did by ourselves. We have at least 3 more to do. And other projects that they have been doing or working on are the Black Ditch and
So bad.
Dutch Henry.
Yes, I know.
I'm waiting for a response back from them on what we need to do with what we found out with the wetlands down there to be able to put in the pipes. So we need to kind of keep them around, even though the airport doesn't want to use them anymore.
Even though what?
The airport does not want to use them anymore.
Oh, okay.
They've been very good, with the bridges and everything, very responsive, so.
Yeah.
For me.
Any further discussion on that? No? Alright, I would like to make a motion to approve the renewal of the master services agreement with Kimley Horn to continue engineering services for Lake County Public Works.
Seconded.
To a vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Michael.
Thanks, Mike.
I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
I will second that.
To a vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. That concludes our meeting. This is a reminder that all packet materials for agenda items are available upon request. To subscribe to email or text notifications, please visit our Lake County website. Thank you all for coming. This concludes our meeting. It is 11:50.
Thank you, staff.
Yeah, thank you.
Eternally
staff.
grateful.
Thank you, Chair.